Hello everyone, Rockrufff here, another video, and this is the high budget version of my Kumamoto Summons Tank Erosion build. So there's a couple of things I do want to say before I hop into this video. And one of the things is, well, this build is unfinished and I apologize for not being able to make this video earlier. The reason to this is last season, canes were bugged. I don't know if you guys know what a cane is. A cane is basically one of the weapons in this game, and they did not have any energy. I planned on using a cane with a amulet. Let me show you guys. So this was the amulet that I corroded and planned on using in the end. And canes, they did not have any energy, which would be an issue for me because if I were to use a weapon without energy, I wouldn't be able to use some of my skills. So I now noticed that they have fixed it, and yeah, as you can see, I haven't been able to craft on it. I don't really have the materials to do so. So I'm just gonna quickly talk about how you can use a cane with a breastpin. But let's first talk about the current version of my build. And yeah, the current version of my build is very defensive. It has good defenses. And the damage is also decent. Let's actually do a DPS check on the dummy. I heard the cap has increased. So now we can actually see the damage. Also, I am currently standing in the standard server. This is not my seasonal character. Like I said, I wanted to make a video about the high budget version, so I hopped on my standard character to quickly make this video for you guys. So you guys now also have a high budget version. So as you can see, it reaches around 600 million. And that's some decent damage. So yeah, let's take a look at the skills and everything. So I'm gonna use the Torchlight helper website for this. I will leave a link into the description so you guys have access to this link and see all my skills and everything. So for skills, we are using the Summon Inspired Think with multi-strike, bloodthirsty slaughter, mechanical modification, slow projectile, and passivation. We are also using Shadow Dash with efficient cast and cooldown reduction. We're using Corruption with Abysmal Hatred and extended duration. Now, one thing I do want to say about using Corruption is I use Corruption on bosses. Now, if you were to do maps, you can use Blurry Steps with cooldown reduction. Unfortunately, I'm not able to put this in on the website. Oh, did it bug out? Yeah, I'm not able to put this on the website, so I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna show you guys real quick what to use Blurry Steps with. So mainly you want to use Blurry Steps with cooldown reduction, extended duration. And if you like to use Curse in maps, you can also use Corruption with Terrain of Malice. And Terrain of Malice basically creates like an AoE circle around you. And as you walk and cast Corruption, everything around you that stands in that circle will be cursed with Corruption. So there are several ways of using Corruption, but the best way is with Abysmal Hatred on bosses. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. And also, we're using Dark Gate with extended duration, cooldown reduction, Machine Army with Mass Effect and Mania. For the passive skills, we are using cooldown reduction. We're using auto defense with cooldown reduction and Aegis of Fire. We're also using Precise Energy Fortress for more energy shield. We are using the Summon Thunder Spirit with Mark Elemental Duo, critical strike damage increase, bloodthirsty slaughter, and multi-strike. One thing I do want to mention about Elemental Duo is that if you're using this, you don't need to use another Summon Thunder Spirit skill in your passives. A lot of people make the mistake and think that they have to use Elemental Duo with another skill that's also a spirit, and I made that mistake as well. But if you just use Elemental Duo, with Summon Thunder Spirit connected, then it will summon 2 Thunder Spirits instead of 1. Now going over to the auras, we are using precise projectiles, precise weapon amplification, precise erosion enhancement, precise rejuvenation, and stand as 1. Now going over to the hero traits, we're using order calling, all in, veteran, last stand, and rest and ready. Now for gear, I'm going to show you guys in the game instead, because it doesn't show all of my gear and neither does it show the corroded mods that I'm using. So I'm gonna skip over it and go to tree instead. So we're using the God of Machine tree with orders and Mighty God. Second tree is gonna be Steel Vanguard with reflection and poison immunity. And the third tree is gonna be Warlock with merciless and off the beaten track. All the small nodes that you should be picking should be in here. If you hover over it, it shows you what exactly those small passives do. And that's pretty much it for this link. Now for the gear, I am using a Fiend Crown. It's corroded and it unfortunately didn't corrode anything interesting, so but yeah, if you were to corrode this, you mainly want to try and go for the minion critical strike damage. And for double corrosion, you would probably want the minion attack speed, because everything else doesn't really change into anything interesting. We're using the Endless Fortress, and for this it's very important to have the max synthetic troop minion quantity on +2. If you do not have +2, you won't be able to use 6 minions. If you were to corrode this piece, you would mainly want the additional damage for minions when they are at low life, and Arcane will change into Ward. So Ward is also a talent tree node, just like Arcane, but Ward gives energy shield equal to sealed mana. I'm using the Lunar Corona Amulet for the +1 minion skill level, and also we're mainly using this because of the minion skill level and active skill level. If I were to unequip this, I won't be able to summon 5 minions. So it's very important to have the +2 synthetic troop quantity and also to have all the skill levels. So if you don't have those, you won't be able to summon 6 minions. For the gloves, we are using the Elder Sage long gloves with spell skill level. The rest is attack block chance to get higher block chance. I don't know if I can show you guys real quick over here. So my attack block chance is on 86. I don't think I can get it any higher with other gear, because all the gear that can roll attack block chance is shield and the gloves. So that's as high as it can go, unless you have a infinity belt with something interesting on it. But yeah, the infinity belt, it's very difficult to find an infinity belt with source and something that would give me, you know, more block. Oh, actually over here, spell block for every 3% of attack block. But I know it's really difficult to get source with something else, so you mainly want to focus on the source mod on infinity. Other stats are up to you. See what you need and try and cap your res. For the shoes, we are using the all magic shoes with the minion skill level mainly, and movement speed is also very important. It works very well with blurry steps. The rings are going to be Decayed Mind, and most important is going to be the troop quantity. For double corrosion, you would probably want the +14. Wait, the adds physical damage as erosion damage for minions. That's what you want to corrode. So these two mods is the same with the other Decayed Mind, but first try and focus on getting max synthetic troop minion quantity. Now, for the wand, we're using a Bard's Wand. Mainly using this for the spell skill level and minion skill level. A lot of people used cooldown recovery. and I noticed that my overload, it lasts long enough, so I don't really have any use for the cooldown recovery and went with aura effect instead. So yeah, this is basically my want. And then we're going over to my shield, and I do want to say that this shield is not the ideal shield. The reason why I'm using this shield is because I managed to craft minion skill level on it. It just took a very long time to craft this on it. I don't know why, but I'm just glad I got it. Anyway, you mainly would want to go with a different shield base. Block ratio, it's good, but it's not better than the restore energy shield on block. So restore energy shield on block is, in my opinion, way better. I survive way longer with it as well. I'm willing to show you guys in a map after this. So yeah, let's talk about what you would want on a Twilight Square shield. So first of all, you would want restore energy shield on block mod. You would want minion skill level and attack block chance. So those are the 3 mods that you would want as prefixes. The suffixes are totally up to you. You mainly would want resistance if you need resistance. If you don't need resistance, you can craft anything else. And aura effect. I tried to get aura effect on this, but as you can see, it rolled max elemental resistance, and I thought, why not? Let me try this out. But yeah, aura effect, I prefer aura effect. So that's mainly what you would want on your shield. You can also use the shield the way it is right now, if you'd like to have more max elemental res. So yeah, that's totally up to you. Now let's go in a map and show you guys the difference between those shields. So I'm just gonna purely stand in the map. I'm not gonna shoot anything. I'm not gonna summon any of my minions. I just want to do this to show you guys the difference and why I think that the other shield is way better. So this is gonna be 85, which is tier 8, and we're just gonna sit on the map and get attacked. Alright, let me unsummon the spirits. Let me deactivate this. So this is the block radio shield. So yeah, like I mentioned before, this was just a shield that I wanted to try out and see how block radio works, and it's good, but it's not better. So now I'm going to use the Twilight Square shield, which gives me 4% energy shield on block. It does mess up my rest, but yeah, as you can see, it's not a fully crafted shield. I just crafted it quickly to show you guys the difference, because I haven't been able to make a proper shield. But yeah, let me unsummon. I'm gonna summon the spirits again. And let's get hit. So these are the same monsters that are hitting me, and as you can see, I just survive way longer. My energy shield, it just goes back up as soon as it blocks, and yeah, it's just a way better survivability like this. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show you guys. Let's go back in town and let's talk about the breastpin and cane situation. And also, let's talk about something else first, actually. So I know that a belt, an infinity belt with source, is going to be difficult to find, especially at the start of a season. Since season 2 just started, I wanted to show you guys a different option. So the option is going to be that you're going to go back to Alchemist and use source there instead. So if you do not have an infinity belt with source on it, you unfortunately have to go back to Alchemist and will not be able to summon some of your... Well, you won't be able to use some of your passive skills. As you can see, I removed Precise Rejuvenation and replaced it with a couple of other things. Also, Delayed pain doesn't belong in here. So there you go. So the skills basically remain the same. It's just the amount of auras that you'll be using is gonna be less. You're mainly gonna be using Restrain with Selfless. Those two skills basically gives you minus sealed mana for support skills. Selfless is very important. You gotta pay attention to it, because if you use this aura with Precise Energy Fortress, then Precise Energy Fortress will not apply to you. Like it says, the support skills do not take effect on self, so Selfless has to be linked with the damage auras. Other changes is gonna be the belt that you're gonna be using. So instead of a Infinity belt, you're gonna be using a Winter of Origin. I have an example for that over here. So this is the Winter of Origin that I was using before this Infinity belt. This Corrosion basically gives my minions focus blessing stacks. This gives them a chance to deal double damage. So it's a very good belt. And yeah, that's basically the belt that you want to use as a replacement. And the trees, well, like I said, instead of Steel Vanguard, you're going to be using Alchemist. All of the nodes that you should be using are in here as well. I will also leave a link into the description of this without the Infinity belt. Now there is a third option, and the third option is gonna be, instead of the Steel Vanguard, you could go the offensive way. So if you have a Source belt, you could use Machinist instead of Steel Vanguard. It is totally up to you. If you use Machinist, well, boss won't have any use for you, because you're already able to summon 6 spiders, and 6 spiders is your max. So you could go with Broken Shell and Kinetic Conversion. If you like the minion aggressiveness, you could also go for Burning Aggression if you like. But yeah, to get defenses from this tree, you mainly would want to go with Kinetic Conversion and the Barrier, the Broken Shell. So node-wise, I haven't selected any of it yet. I haven't actually tried it out, so I'm going to change my tree real quick and show you guys what it's like to use, instead of Steel Vanguard with Source Belt, we're going to be using the Machinist. So I'll be right back. I'll be changing my tree. I'll see you guys then. So I have swapped into the Machinist tree. I will also make a Torchlight helper link for this, so you guys can copy everything as well. So it will be, I think, 3 or 4 separate links in my description. And yeah, let's actually do a dummy check on this. So it definitely reaches 600 easier. It even goes to 700, as you can see. So it's definitely like 200 million more damage. So Machinist is definitely, you know, more damage. So if you have a Source belt, you can basically pick between Steel Vanguard and Machinist. So Steel Vanguard is the defensive option, and Machinist is the offensive option. So let's talk about the cane situation. So like I mentioned before, I wanted to use this cane instead of a wand, but since they had no energy, I couldn't use it. So the idea of using a cane would be with this Warden's breastpin. And if you read the last mod, it says critical strike rating and critical strike damage are also applied to minions. So if I were to put critical strike rating and critical strike damage on my gear or for my tree, it will all go to my minions. Now, the reason why I wanted to use a cane is because canes can craft different things than wands. Let me show you guys in the crafting section over here. So as you can see, it can roll several things like projectile damage, and since your minions, your spider tanks, they shoot projectiles, so projectile damage and all other projectile mods should apply to them. But the only way to use this would be with a infinity belt, and infinity belt would have isomorphic arms. So this was basically the original idea of me making this build, but since Canes did not have any energy, I made the build like this. So if you do want to go this way, then what you would want to craft on your cane would be mainly projectile damage. Other prefixes would be, let's see, maybe physical damage to gear and then increased attack speed. And then another prefix would be the +3 to active skill level. And then for suffixes, you would want to craft, let's see, projectile damage and then minus 20% additional projectile speed. And other suffixes would be critical strike damage and then maybe attack speed. But yeah, like I said, I haven't been able to use this. I haven't even crafted one, so if you were to craft one, do keep in mind that it might not be the best in slot. So yeah, please keep that in mind. And that's what I wanted to explain about the cane. So you mainly would want a Dragonblood cane for the critical strike damage. And you could use it with a shield. So if you were to use a shield, you would obviously want the minion skill level and all of these mods on it. And then all of your gear would have to become critical strike damage as well on all of your gear. You can craft that on your amulet. You could craft that on your gloves. Let me see if I can craft that on boots. I don't think boots has that option. Let me quickly go to the list, see if like any crit mods are craftable on boots. I don't think so. I don't see any. Yeah, no. So boots do not have that option, but gloves do, and amulet and shield. You can also craft crit on shield, as you can see. So you mainly would want the critical strike damage. And that was basically the idea of using a breastpin with a cane. I will try and see if I can do this season in the seasonal, the new season. So I have a character there. I want to try and make the same build, but except this time I want to use a breastpin with the cane. So that's probably gonna be my goal this season. So yeah, now you guys should have a couple of options when it comes to this build. So cane with a breastpin, source belt with steel vanguard or machinist, and also without a source belt, alchemist. And then of course if you're using breastpin, all your gear will automatically become crit. See if there's anything I forgot to mention. I don't think so, hopefully. I know I haven't showed pact spirits, so let's take a quick look at that. So I haven't really been using pact spirits that much. I've just been using it for XP, as you can see, because I've been trying to level and I'm level 98. We can actually do a we could do a boss fight if we have one available. We can do a Keegan if I have the fragments for it in here, hopefully. Let me see, I don't even know where I put them. I think it was in one of... Yeah, give me a couple of minutes. Unless they just simply disappeared out of my inventory or they're in my... Okay, they're in my inventory. Okay, never mind. So, let's do a quick Keegan. And let's install all of these. Well, this is not even unlocked, but I do want to say that with Steel Vanguard, Keegan definitely... it's a bit difficult on 4 of these edicts. So I think with Machinist, it actually might die quicker. Because it does more damage. But yeah, yeah, let's do this. So this is, let me see, this is Machinist. So this is offensive, and I can do another one with Steel Vanguard to show you guys Keegan on Steel Vanguard. Alright, so make sure you cast your curse. As you can see, his health bar goes down pretty quickly. So which shield am I actually using? Okay, that's the right one. I was told that Keegan mainly does physical and poison, well, erosion damage, so Steel Vanguard definitely has its advantages when it comes to Keegan, because you'll have like 80%. You'll have, oh, 80% erosion resistance. I was standing on that asset. Yeah, don't stand on the asset, guys. And I did it again. And I, okay, dude. God damn it. Yeah, I totally forgot how this fight works. Yes, as long as you don't stand on the assets, you'll be fine. Ah, there we go. Alright. That is totally my fault. So yeah, let me change the tree again to Steel Vanguard and show you guys, you know, the difference, basically. I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back in the Steel Vanguard tree. And also one thing I forgot to mention would be that you won't be able to use one of the auras. So if you're using Machinist, you're gonna have to remove Precise Rejuvenation and replace it with Selfless instead. If you are using Steel Vanguard, then you can put back the Rejuvenation. You'll be able to cast all of your auras. So that's basically one small difference when it comes to using Machinist. So let's do this again, and hopefully I won't be standing in all of that asset stuff this time. Yeah, as you can see, I'm blocking some of his attacks, I'm tanking it. The spikes, they don't hurt me that much. I don't know about the assets. Actually, let me purposely stand on the asset. I'm probably gonna stand in it anyway. So I don't know what kind of damage acid does. Okay, so yeah, I have better resistance against it right now with Steel Vanguard, as you can see. Oh. Like without Steel Vanguard, I'm getting one tap by it. So there's an advantage for using Steel Vanguard. Honestly, another idea could be if you're doing a bunch of Keegan fights, you could just change to Steel Vanguard and then change back later to something else. Might not be the best idea, but you know, it's at least an idea. Especially if you struggle fighting this guy. Oh. Got blasted. Yeah, I'm not very good at this fight myself, as you can see. It's probably because I haven't done it enough to actually be able to know all of its attacks and moves and everything. But yeah, that's basically the difference between trees when it comes to Keegan for Watchers and Traveler. Traveler is pretty easy, Watchers is also pretty easy. It's just Keegan that I'm, you know, having a bit of a struggle with because I just don't know when he does what. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Watchers, I can pretty much tank most of their attacks with Steel Vanguard. I don't know about Machinist. I suppose I don't really have any Watchers right now to show you guys. But yeah, Watchers should be quite easy. Same for Traveler. So it's just Keegan that might be a little painful. But if you guys know the fight, then it should be really easy. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and can now enjoy the high budget version of my build. I also have an even higher budget for this build. And the idea was to go Exquisite Box, but I am not sure about that idea anymore. But yeah, so the idea would be to replace the Endless Fortress with the Mind Infusion boots. Mind Infusion can also roll main skill level and have +2 synthetic troop quantity. The only way to get +2 on those boots would be to Corroded. So the boots are like more expensive, so Endless Fortress is definitely like a more budget version. And then the plan would be for me to craft a rare chest with active skill level and everything. But yeah, since I haven't really been able to go to that budget yet, because the Mind Infusions are really expensive and I don't have the currency for that. But yeah, you guys are free to try. I don't think the Exquisite Box is needed, to be honest. The only idea with the Exquisite Box is that you can get rid of the Warlock tree, because Exquisite Box give a bunch of cooldown reduction. I'm not sure if they have changed anything to the Exquisite Box, but it's definitely not necessary. Just the only idea would be to go Mind Infusion and replace the Endless Fortress with a rare chest. So that's pretty much it. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment in the description, and see you guys soon. Bye bye.